Hello everyone and welcome. My name is George and this is a household budgeting workbook. It will be available to you via a link in the description below, and that link will also give you the option to download a blank version of this template so that you can use it for your own personal budgeting. In this video, I'll give you a quick overview of what the budget can do and how it works, but I'll actually be posting a separate video on each individual sheet to show you how to get the most out of them. Before we jump in though, I just want to briefly emphasize that this was made for people of all skill levels when it comes to budgeting and or using Excel. While this budget's functions and features are pretty sophisticated from a technical standpoint, from a user standpoint, it's actually very simple and accessible. Everything was designed for simplicity and usability. Hopefully that will be clear as we go through. All right, now let's do a quick overview of the template. As you can see down here, there are 9 tabs in this workbook. We're on the summary tab over here, which is followed by these 5 green sheets. Green just means they need manual entry of some kind. And those are followed by these 2 orange sheets here. Those are the interactive graphs. The last sheet is titled lists, and that is basically just the stuff that goes on under the hood. Here on the summary tab, this is a snapshot of all things that are going on in the workbook elsewhere. It gives you details on your income up here, expenses over here, and account balances over here, all of which it's pulling from other sheets. The income tab is the first green tab. This is where you'll record income as it comes in. You'll do this in a simple table right here, which is where the headings are, by recording just a few pieces of information per entry. While doing this, you'll be assisted by easy-to-use drop-down menus, which you'll see throughout the workbook. The next tab is the expenses tab. This is just like the income tab, where you have a nice simple table right here, and you'll enter expenses as they come in by recording just a few pieces of information. Again, like the income tab, you'll be assisted by these easy-to-use drop-down menus. The next tab is account balances. Just like the last 2 sheets, you have a simple table, once again, to record balances of any kind you can think of by month. These can be your bank balances, student loan balances, credit cards, mortgage, health savings, and so on. It does not just have to be debts. It could also be savings or assets. The next sheet is the budget sheet. This is probably what most people think of when they think of budgeting. On this sheet, you'll estimate your monthly sources of income over here, which will then be added up for you to give you a projected monthly income. You'll do the same thing over here for your expenses, and this table goes down a little bit further since there's more categories. The sheet will automatically add those up for you and tell you your projected monthly expenses. It'll multiply that by 12 to give you your projected yearly expenses. Over here, the same thing was done for our income to show us our projected income over the course of the year. And then it'll subtract your expenses from your income for you to tell you if you're going to be in the green or the red at the end of a hypothetical year with this amount of income and this amount of expenses. The next tab is the projections tab. This is arguably the most useful sheet in the workbook, but it's definitely also the most complicated, so be sure to check out the video on it. This sheet goes beyond just a single monthly budget like the last sheet and actually projects your monthly budget over the next 2 years. Accordingly, it will help you estimate how things will be going for you financially at any given month over the next 2 years. There's actually these 3 tables here on the left, income, expenses, and balances, all of which can be expanded or collapsed, in which you'll go ahead and estimate your projected income for every month in the future. Same with expenses, same with bank balances. The first orange tab is the summary graphs tab. Here we see a visual of our cumulative income on the left, our recent account balances on the right, and our cumulative expenses down at the bottom. It's simple, but it says a lot. And the second orange sheet down here is called data over time. It shows us exactly that. The top graph shows income and spending, both overall and individual categories, over time, while the bottom graph down here does the same for account balances. Both of these have user-friendly drop-down menus to help you interact with them as easy as possible. Over here on the left, for example, you can choose a viewing option. Over here on the right, you can choose to see individual categories of income or expenses. You can do the same thing down here for individual account balances. And then finally, we've arrived at the List tab. This holds all the data validation lists in the workbook and also instructions on how to change any of the lists. Let's go back to the Summary tab now. That is everything. If you like what you see, I hope you'll keep watching and will consider using this workbook for your own budgeting needs. Thank you so much for your time.